Welcome to Selected Summaries, where we distill knowledge for you and select only the very best. Today, we're diving into a book that has genuinely changed the game for millions of people, Atomic Habits by James Clear. We're going to unpack its incredible core idea, how you can completely transform your life, not with some massive dramatic change, but with tiny, almost invisible habits that you do every single day. So let me ask you a question that might flip what you think you know about achieving big goals. What if the most amazing results didn't come from huge, heroic efforts? What if they came from something much, much smaller? That's the powerful idea we're starting with today. So let's get right into it and explore the incredible power that's packed into these tiny daily improvements. It really all comes down to one little number, 1%. The big idea here is that if you can just get 1% better at something each day, the effect over time isn't just a little better, it's massive. It compounds. We're not aiming for perfection here. We're just talking about a tiny, consistent push forward every single day. You know, we often think that to get real results, we need to make some huge revolutionary change. But Atomic Habits shows us that's just not how it works. Real, lasting success is simply the product of your daily habits. It's not about how intense you are, it's about how consistent you are. These little habits are like the atoms of your life, tiny on their own, but together they build everything. And this quote from the book, man, it just hits the nail on the head. We all have goals, right? We want to get fit, or build a business, or learn a language. But goals are just the destination. Your systems, that's your collection of daily habits, that's the vehicle that actually gets you there. If your systems are weak, you'll always fall back down, no matter how ambitious your goals are. So if our systems are that important, we really need to understand what's going on under the hood. How does a habit even form in the first place? Let's break down the four-step pattern that every single one of your habits follows, good or bad. Every habit runs on this simple four-step loop. First, there's a cue, which is just the trigger that tells your brain to get started. That cue then leads to a craving, which is the motivation or desire. That craving drives the response. That's the actual habit itself. And finally, you get a reward, which feels good and tells your brain, hey, remember this, let's do it again. Once you see this loop, you can start to take control of it. Okay, so now that we know the playbook, how do we use it to our advantage? How do we build good habits? Well, the book gives us 4 simple, powerful laws to do just that, one for each stage of the loop. Law number 1 is all about the cue. Make it obvious. You want to make the trigger for your new good habit impossible to ignore. A fantastic way to do this is called habit stacking. You link your new habit to one you already do. So instead of a vague goal like, I'll read more, you get super specific. After my morning prayer, I will read 1 page. The existing habit becomes the undeniable cue for the new one. Next up, Law 2, which is all about the craving. Make it attractive. See, our brains are wired to move toward pleasure. So you can make a new habit more appealing by pairing it with something you already want to do. For example, I only get to drink my favorite fancy coffee while I'm studying that new skill. You start to look forward to the habit because it's linked to something you love. Now, law number 3 is honestly a total game changer. Make it easy. So many of us fail because we try to do too much too soon. The secret here is what James Clear calls the 2-minute rule. Whatever new habit you want to start, scale it down so it takes less than 2 minutes to do. Don't commit to working out for an hour. Commit to putting on your workout clothes. The goal at first isn't to do the thing, it's to master the art of just showing up. And finally, Law 4 closes that loop with the reward. Make it satisfying. For a habit to stick, your brain needs to get a little hit of success right away. That immediate reward is what tells your brain it was worth it. This can be as simple as putting an X on a calendar. That little feeling of accomplishment you get from not breaking the chain, that's the fuel that makes you want to do it again tomorrow. All right, so that's the blueprint for building good habits. But you know, what about the other side of the equation? What do we do about breaking the bad ones? Well, the solution is actually beautifully simple. You just flip the 4 laws on their head. To get rid of a bad habit, you want to make the cue invisible. You want to make the craving unattractive. You need to make the action difficult. And you have to make the reward feel unsatisfying. It's the exact same system, just in reverse. Let's take a classic bad habit, like checking your phone way too much. To make the cue invisible, you put your phone in another room. To make it unattractive, you can remind yourself of what you're losing, your focus, your time. To make it difficult, you turn off all those tempting notifications. You're just adding a little bit of friction, making it harder for the bad habit to even get started. Okay, so we've covered the mechanics, the nuts and bolts of how habits work. But the book saves its most profound, its most powerful idea for last. And this is the secret that really ties everything together and makes change last for good. And here it is. This is the big shift. The most powerful way to change your habits is to stop focusing on what you want to achieve and start focusing on who you wish to become. So you stop saying, I want to read a book, and you start telling yourself, I am a reader. It's a subtle change in language, but it's a massive change in mindset. Every action you take becomes a vote for the type of person you want to be. Because at the end of the day, true, lasting behavior change is identity change. Once you start to truly believe you're a certain type of person, you just start acting in line with that belief. Your habits aren't something you have to force anymore. They're just an expression of who you are. So, to wrap it all up and bring it home, just remember these key things. Real change doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of those tiny atomic habits. Consistency will always beat intensity in the long run. Focus on your systems, not just your goals. And most importantly, remember that you are what you do every day. So here's the final message, the real call to action. Don't wait for Monday or the first of the month. Start today. Pick one ridiculously small 2-minute habit and just do it. Because I promise you, the person you will be 1 year from now will be so glad that you started today. We really hope you got a lot out of this summary. And hey, if you want to build the good habit of learning new things, you can make it obvious and easy by subscribing to our channel. And you can make it satisfying for us by hitting that like button, sharing this with a friend, and leaving a comment to let us know what you think. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. We'll see you in the next summary.